Hey everybody, it's Jordan from Activepieces. There's too much news right now. The world is crazy. So I'm going to show you how to build a tool in Activepieces that grabs every news story every day from every website that you care about, filters them down to just the top 10 news stories specifically of interest to you, and then sends an email to your inbox with just those stories and a nice little nugget about what they are and why they matter to you. So the final product is a daily email to your inbox. As you can see here, it finds the top 10 stories from the day that you might care about based on what you tell it you care about. It eliminates any kind of news stories about stuff you don't care about, sports, the Kardashians. The tool is built on RSS and Activepieces. So RSS stands for Really Simple Syndication. That sounds made up, but that is, as you can see, what it stands for. Or it could be Rich Site Summary. Nobody knows. Anyway, any news site that you go to is going to be sending an RSS feed, and that feed is a feed of every news story as it's published. So it just sends that out for anyone to grab. This is also how podcasts work. When you listen to a podcast, you're getting an RSS feed typically of that podcast sent to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever. RSS, some people think it's dead. It's not dead. RSS is still alive and well. The way I do it is I just go to ChatGPT. I'm like, hey, how do I get the RSS feed from TechCrunch? It just tells me. And then if you go to that feed, it's not particularly useful to you because you're a human being. So we need a feed reader to actually read this. There aren't really feed readers that let you use AI to filter the news. They do exist, but you have to pay for them typically. But we don't like to spend money, okay? We're vibe coders. So I'm going to show you how to not spend any money, but create an RSS feed reader that is top of the line, world class. You pay nothing for it, and you can tell it to do whatever you want it to do. I've built an RSS feed reader in Activepieces. So you just start a new flow in Activepieces, use this step, get feeds from multiple sources, and you can put any website that you want, basically. Any news website will have an RSS feed. You find the feed link, you just plop them in here, and then whenever a news story is released from that website, this will be triggered, and we can go through the rest of the flow. Step 2, you just get the current date. This helps us out later. And then here's the fun part. So we want to filter all of these news stories. And if you've got 30 website RSS feeds that you're pulling, that's going to be thousands of news stories a day. No one can read that much news, right? So we want to just filter this down just to our interests. So here I've made an AI step in Activepieces. And what the step does is it says, hey, this is me. I'm Jordan Thomas Gray, professor of vibe coding and Activepieces. I only care about this stuff. Marketing automation, Nintendo Switch 2, if I'm ever going to buy one. GTA 6, if that ever comes out. John Cena, because come on, who doesn't love John Cena? And then I tell it what I don't want. So I don't want any political news unless it's AI related. I don't want marketing stuff, press releases. I don't want minor product updates. Google updated Gmail to Gmail 1000.02. Don't care about that stuff. So it excludes all that stuff. So I just plug in the stuff from the RSS step, and then I tell it to respond only with true if it's an article that I'm probably interested in based on what I told it, and false if it's something that I probably don't care about. So it outputs that, and then I've added a router step. So if I don't care about the article, the flow just ends, nothing happens. If I do care about the article, then it logs it to a Google Sheet. So you just create a Google Sheet. I have one here called RSS Aggregator. If it's something I care about, it logs that news story to this sheet. It logs hundreds per day. We're going to create another flow to actually process that, but that's the first step, just creating the feed reader to give you only stories that you probably care about. So now we make another flow in Activepieces that basically narrows all these news stories, hundreds of news stories, down to just the top 10 that you care about. And then it sends an email to you with those news stories. So in the second flow, you just have a trigger that says every day at 8 a.m., start the flow. You get the current date. Going to use that later. And then it reads your sheet. So this just says, hey, go to this sheet. And it reads our sheet of the news stories from the past day. And then it ranks them again, okay? Because hundreds is still too many. We want 10 news stories. So I tell it to, hey, look at this sheet, create a numbered list with article title, summary, and link to the full article. I tell it again my interests. These are my interests: vibe coding, GTA 6, John Cena. And then I tell it again, just in case anything made it through, don't give me any marketing, salesy stuff. Don't give me boring stuff, basically. And then I tell it to choose the 10 most interesting news articles from those hundreds of articles to me and rank them. Number 1, most interesting. Number 10, least interesting. In the next step, we actually generate the email. So we use Claude for this because Claude is just better at this task. The other steps have been ChatGPT because it's just crunching information. And I'm just telling it, hey, here's my list. Give me these 10 things in a really attractive email. You could also feed it a template to put everything into, but I think it's more fun to have it generate a new email template every time, because every day you will get a different looking cool email with your news stories, and that's pretty fun. If you've done it right, it's never broken, always looks good, always looks cool, just something cool and new in your inbox every single day. Now it's time to actually send the email. So you just connect your Gmail account, you send it to yourself. In the subject, you can pass the current date to say, hey, fresh vibe news for whatever today is. And in the body, you just plug in the generate email step, and it should just give you the email. Bingo bango, you got your news stories that you care about instead of news stories that are boring as hell. The last step is to clear our sheet, because we've loaded it up with hundreds of news stories from the past day. And all this does is it clears that sheet, so it immediately just starts gathering news stories. So you can get a new email every day with brand new news stories that only you care about. Well, some other people might care about them too, but you will definitely care about these. I also want to flag that you don't need ChatGPT Premium, you don't need Claude Plus or Super Max or whatever to do this. Activepieces has native integration with both ChatGPT and Claude, so you just use the Ask AI step and it'll do it for you. If you do want to try this out for yourself, we have a complete tutorial on activepieces.com. It'll walk you through step-by-step how to do it. We've also included the templates, so you just use the templates, plug in your own interests. You could make a news feed aggregator that only shows you happy news. You could make an aggregator that only shows you GTA 6 news, right? You could pick any topic you want, plug in as many RSS feeds as you want, and only get specific news stories about that thing that you're interested in or that category of things. The possibilities are limitless. You could be as customized as you want with this. It's a pretty fun tool to play around with, so I hope you like it.